Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and sponsored by international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of Missing. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 40 podcast platforms, as well as HamiltonRadio.net, Diamonds FM, and TheMikeWagnerShow.com. We can be heard in over 100 countries, featuring over 1,000 well-known and amazing guests throughout the globe. And named one of the top 100 global podcasts in the New York Weekly Times, Hollywood Entertainment News, Los Angeles Weekly Times, Apple, and Chartable. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great episode of the award-winning Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at soundcloudstudios.com for all your needs, and brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with an amazing veteran West Coast performer from San Francisco. He shared the stage with Elvin Bishop, Greg Allman, also James Cotton, Coco Taylor, and the rest of the gang as well, too. His song's been featured on The Game, also Cold Case, Dateline, NBC, Melrose Place. He's also has his new release featured material written by Bill Haley's original comics and backed by the Jordanaires. He's also author of 2 books as well, too. And we'll get to those in a minute. He's got a brand new song, Come On, featuring the Jordanaires and more of his great works. He's very popular by the Bay, live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in the Golden Gates, as exemplified in the background as well, to the amazing multi-talented veteran West Coast performer from San Francisco, Dave Crimmen. Dave, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Wow, I'm shocked you got all that in. Thanks, Mike.
Well, it's great to have you on board, too. I mean, being by the Bay is like the biggest thing, you know. Everything comes from the Bay and heads over east. So it's like you guys are pretty much the trendsetters right there, too. So,
well, not all the time, but, you know, there's been a few folks that have come out of the San Francisco Bay Area and that have been blessed and been popular. A few folks have been teleported here, like Janis Joplin and Eddie Money, and became popular here. And it's a great place to be. It's a good music area.
Mm-hmm. And certainly is as well, too. And of course, you being a veteran West Coast performer for many years, you shared the stage with Elvin Bishop, Greg Allman, James Cotton, and Coco Taylor. Your songs have been featured on The Game, Cold Case, Dateline, NBC, and Melrose Place. You have a new release featuring materials written by the Bill Haley's original comics and also backed by the Jordanaires. And you're also 2 books, which is called Images of American Broadmoor Village and also Daly City Then and Now. And you also had some previous music like Full Circle, Big Daddy D, Where He Left Off, The Son of Sun, and more as well, too. And, if you just ordered some pizza, tell them to come on in. So we have that. So.
Pizza is the staff of life.
That's all right. Just like many of us as well, too. That, coffee, and everything. You have a new song featuring the Jordanaires called Come On. We'll talk about some of your other music. And before getting all that, Dave, tell us how you first got started.
Well, I was born in San Francisco and raised in Broadmoor Village, which is an unincorporated district right in the middle of, but not part of, Daly City. Daly City is the first town just south of San Francisco. It's in San Mateo County, not San Francisco County, for all of those that are not in North Cal area. And I'm the baby of the family. I've got an older brother and 3 older sisters, and the eldest sister, Arlene, is 21 years older than me. So she was bringing home records by Elvis Presley and Little Richard when I was 6 months old.
Wow.
And yes, I remember these records being played And I told all three of my sisters when they got married and moved out, I said, y'all can leave, but your records are staying. And they thought I was joking. I was not joking. So Arlene, the eldest one, was also a musician locally. She wasn't professional, but I actually described her amplifier to her one time, and she was in shock. She said, David, you were 6 months old when I had that thing. I go, yeah, but I know music came out of there. So I started real early. You know, yeah, I don't think you can get much earlier than 6 months of age. And yeah, I just posted on Facebook last week celebrating my sister's birthday. And
happy birthday.
She November 30th, heavenly happy birthday to my sister. God love her. And I also posted a picture from an Elvis Presley concert on October 26, 1956 at the San Francisco Civic that she went to.
Nice.
And I can truly understand why my mom wouldn't let me go. I was 1 year and 4 days old at that point. But I felt the excitement.
And of course, if you feel the excitement of an amplifier at 6 months old and feeling the presence of Elvis, it's like, you know, I guess, you know, what next after 2, 5, 10 years old, maybe some what peanut butter banana sandwiches, or like, you know, those jelly donuts, you know, coming at you too. So
well, back in the 50s, we didn't know he was eating stuff like that. That was more in the 70s. But yeah, totally understand. And I remember being in kindergarten and being 4 years old, and who knows where these thoughts come up when you're 4 years old. But I do remember thinking in the middle of kindergarten that I wanted to grow up to be like Elvis Presley. I didn't want to be Elvis Presley. And so I've had offers to wear a white jumpsuit on stage, and no, I just don't go there.
That's rather interesting. I think some people would jump at the chance of being an Elvis impersonator as long as you got paid Elvis money. I know some people who have been Elvis impersonators. It's you know, the fact they enjoy it, get out of the house, they love to perform, and everything else, you know, those things too. So you know, we just had all that. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career? You know, besides the amplifier and your sister going to see Elvis in San Francisco, what else is that one precise moment for you that influenced you?
You know, I just remember sitting in front of the Victrola. That's what Mama called it. I believe it was a Crosley,
yes,
turntable and radio combo that we had. And the speaker was probably about 6 inches big. And at 6 months old, I probably wasn't much bigger than that.
Oh my gosh.
I literally remember Sis putting on records like My Baby Left Me, Hound Dog, Ready Teddy by Little Richard. And whatever was coming out of that speaker vibrated everything in my body. So yeah, I remember that, and it was exciting, and it was love, and it was joy, and it's like, I want to do that.
That early, it's amazing. You're like the first guest who is actually influenced by something like for the rest of their career at less than a year old. I mean, I think you've got the record so far, 6 months.
Well, yeah, and we haven't even gone into past lives yet. We won't go there.
It's perfectly okay. I'm sure Elvis is like, you know, hey, it's okay. I'll get you a jelly donut later when you come up to rock and roll heaven one day. So, and I'll save you a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
I'm Irish on Mama's side and Cherokee Indian on Daddy's side, so I tell folks I've got a double shot of being psychic. I'm not a mind reader, but I am psychic, so it does happen every now and
then. Oh my goodness, ain't that some? I'm sure Elvis is listening by now with what you're saying too, and yeah, good job, GCB.
I had years ago at one of our shows. There was a friend of a friend who came, and she was a psychic.
Oh my gosh.
And the band went on break, and I went down to say hi to her, and she was looking at me as if she'd seen a ghost. I go, you look like you've seen a ghost, and you see ghosts all the time. What's wrong? What's going on? And she's looking at me, and she's looking above my head, which means she was looking at my aura and looking back down at me. And she goes, do you realize when you sing Elvis Presley songs that you're channeling Elvis Presley? What do you think about that? And I said, please tell me I'm channeling the cool Elvis Presley from the 1950s and not the white jumpsuit from the 1970s. Was just kidding. And she said, well, I don't know much about Elvis Presley, but she says, as a psychic, I can tell you, each spirit has its own indigenous vibration. And his is very heavy in your space when you sing his songs. How do you do that? I go, you're a psychic and you channel people and you're asking me how I do that? Well, and I told her just exactly what I told you a minute ago. I go back to being 6 months old and sitting in front of that Crosley Victrola, as Mama called it, and feeling the energy of these wonderful records just shaking my body. And it was just a joyous, wonderful feeling and wanting to do that. So I said, every time we'll do an Elvis song or a Little Richard song or Fats Domino, I close my eyes and that little kid inside here just says, I want to sound just like that. And you just let go and let it happen, you know? So that's what happens.
Oh, that is too cool. I got to say that. And hey, is my jelly donut ready? He says, we'll have a ready minute for us, son. Come on, ready for me.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, in fact, I'm not having dinner until I get that jelly donut from Elvis. So I have to get more motivated for that. So
well, there's a song in here somewhere.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. And besides Elvis Presley, who are some other favorite singers, songers, and artists, musicians growing up besides Elvis?
Well, you know, to me, it's all rock and roll. So by the time I got to high school, all the kids were listening to the Jefferson Whatchacallit and the Grateful Dudes. And I was still listening to Buddy Holly and Bo Diddley and Chuck Berry. And I'm going, no, you guys, that's not rock and roll. This is rock and roll. However, you know, there were several bands that were and groups that were popular then when I was in high school, which is 69 to 73. My favorite band, bar none, was Creedence Clearwater Revival. And that's because their main influences were Sun Records and Chess Records, just like me. Mm. Second favorite band came from Manitoba, Canada. The Guess Who. I love great singers.
Guess Who? Burton Cummings. They are the pride of Canada. Yeah. In fact, where we're located, it's like they talked about all the time. It's not too far from Manitoba, about 3-5 hours away from Winnipeg. Everybody still talks about the Guess Who of all people. How do you like that?
I love great guitar players. I love great singers. I love great songwriters. Number 3 when I was in high school was a group called Three Dog Night.
I remember that, yes.
Great singers. I love the Temptations because all 5 of them were lead singers. They got to trade off all the time. And I love Gladys Knight and the Pips. I had an incredible crush on Gladys Knight. I mean, you're 15 years old, and at that age, you've got hormones dripping out of your ears, let alone any place else. And you're walking between classes, and everybody's playing If I Were Your Woman. It's like, this is not fair. She also had a song called You Need Love Like I Do, Don't You? And the hook line is, it seems like I'm looking in a mirror when I'm looking at you, and I'm like, this is really not fair. So those were, you know, some of my favorite people in high school. Nowadays, there's a brand new record out by this girl called Jax, and it's called Victoria's Secret.
Huh, interesting.
Oh, you should. I recently discovered a real live top 40 station here in the San Francisco Bay Area, which we have not had since, you know, for 25 years. When I was growing up and listening to KYA and KFRC AM, they'd play Frank Sinatra. The next record would be Aretha Franklin. The next record would be the Beatles. I mean, whoever had a hit record got played. You didn't have to have 25 different stations doing specific styles. Well, we finally have one back. And this little girl, Jax, the song Victoria's Secret is all about little girls growing up being measured up to the image of a Victoria's Secret model.
How you like that?
And haven't we all had to measure up to an image that we couldn't? And I think the song rocks. It's also hysterical at the same time. I love Taylor Swift's new record, Anti-Hero. I mean, for someone it was really impressive as a songwriter how she captured issues of mental illness in that song. I hate to talk about people I went to school with, but when it comes to music that's out there right now, they're all starting to sound like our parents.
There's no good yeah, I get that all the time. You put on 70s and it's like, oh, that's mom and dad music. They'll make fun of it. It's like, we make fun of music, what they listen to. Now it's like, we're getting the brunt of it. I know what you mean.
There's all I'm saying is that to me, it's all rock and roll. There's a lot of good records out there, a lot of good songwriters. Who's the fella from Hawaii? Bruno Mars. I'm a real big fan of Bruno Mars.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, the guy can play double bass and sing, get on and put on guitar, piano, and just about every instrument possible. And I look, it's like, this is the best multi-instrumentalist and most complex and can sing I've seen and heard in a long time. I went, whoa.
That kid grew up listening to every record James Brown ever put out. I'm proud of him. He did his homework.
Mm-hmm. He certainly does as well too. And by the way, what's the name of the radio station that's playing the actual top 40 for first time in 20 years? I want to make a note of it and give it a listen. So everybody, you can take notes of it too if you miss Ultimate Top 40, like back in the day, 50s, 60s, 70s, and all that.
Well, this is all new music. It's not a traditional 50s or 60s or 70s top 40. It is that format. They're just playing the new records. And I forget the call letter numbers, but they're at 99.7 on the FM dial here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I'm sure you can look them up. I was just, in my car one day hitting buttons and surfing, and all of a sudden they played this new song by Jax called Victoria's Secrets, and it rocks. And I just left the station on, and they were playing the new one by Beyonce, and then they played the new one by Taylor Swift. And I'm like, wow, there's some really, really good stuff. And it didn't matter. Ed Sheeran's being played on there, so it doesn't matter what style. It's just whatever's a hit, that's what they're playing. So everybody here in the Bay Area, I highly suggest this station if you want to get back in touch. Because for a long time, I've been co-writing with a lot of people, and there's three friends specifically. We've turned into a bit of a group. We call ourselves the Love Avengers. Mm-hmm. And the other three were talking about all these artists that are out right now, and I didn't know who they were talking about. I kind of felt like they were on Earth, and I was way out on the planet Mars, kind of out of touch. And when I discovered the station, like, oh my God, this is who they're listening to. So it's great to have an outlet back here again. San Francisco Bay Area is another market that has not had a country station in a good 25, 30 years. Mm-hmm. You have to go out into the valley where Sacramento and San Joaquin is. That's about hour and a half drive. And traditionally in that part of the state, it's mostly agriculture. So there's definitely more of a country feel out there lifestyle wise. So in the Bay Area, there just has not been an outlet for country music. And, my dad is from Augusta, Georgia. I was raised on what used to be called hillbilly music. Mm-hmm. Now it's country music, but people like Red Foley, Lefty Frizzell, Hank Williams Sr., Hank Snow, Eddie Arnold, Patsy Montana.
Oh, the classic. Yeah. Patsy Cline. Then you got, oh my gosh, who else? Or Buck Owens too. Bakersfield, California. I was going to mention that. Bakersfield. That was a hot area too for country music. They call it the Bakersfield Sound. I remember that, Buck Owens.
Yeah. Well, those three guys, Buck Owens, Merle Haggard, and Dwight Yoakam, God bless him, Dwight Yoakam is still waving that flag for the Bakersfield Sound, even though I think he's really from Oklahoma or Montana or something. I'm not quite sure. Mm-hmm. But he's another one that moved out to California and got popular down in the LA area. But he definitely does that Fender Telecaster twangy sound. So, I love stuff like that.
Oh, it does too. And of course, we were talking about top 40 radio as well too, and having it back again. I also associate as the AM style as well too. I listened to it one day in Chicago, and here it is, like top 40 John Cougar. I'm like, oh, this is great. Next thing you know, what? I'm working for the station.
Oh, congrats.
That was like back in the 90s though. It's like you had live jocks and everything. So it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you didn't program it, but you were at least live on the air. That's a beautiful thing.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And of course, you've also got some music on there as well, too. You're creating your own fame and fortune. We'll be talking more with Dave Crimmen and his new song, Come On, featuring the Jordanaires. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com or for 40 podcast platforms. Heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Audible Music, as well as on BitChute and Rumble, also on HamiltonRadio.net every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazingly multi-talented veteran West Coast performer from San Francisco, Dave Crimmen, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And, before we talk about your new song, Come On, featuring the Jordanaires, you share the stage with Elvin Bishop, Greg Allman, James Cotton, and Coco Tail. And, tell us about those. And who was your favorite on that stage? What's it like performing with them?
Coco Taylor was really a nice guy. He was really awesome. I have several effects I use on my guitar, and one of them is called tremolo. And this is what Chet Atkins used on those Everly Brother records back in the 50s. Mm-hmm. And I always play the intro to an Everly Brothers song called Devoted to You. It was a top 10 record for them in 1958. And so we're doing our sound check, and I always do that opening guitar riff just to make sure I got the speed and everything on the tremolo set proper. And Coco Taylor comes running out. He goes, "Oh my God, you're playing Devoted to You. Oh my God, nobody plays that." And he goes, "Oh my God, I saw the Everly Brothers once. They kicked my butt." And I'm like, "Hi." Yeah, I was really touched that it was so innocent the way he, ran out and said that. That was a lot of fun. James Cotton, one of many blues cats that was recording on Sun Records way before Carl Perkins and Elvis Presley. He was in the early 50s with Howlin' Wolf and B.B. King when Sam Phillips was experimenting with him. He was just the most grounded, sweet man in the universe, and his band was really sweet to play with. Greg, I really didn't meet Greg. I mean, we kind of passed each other backstage, and I forget the name of the lead guitar player. He's still with the Allman Brothers as well. He was really sweet because I accidentally unplugged his Marshall stack so I could plug mine in. And he had a special rig to where it stayed warmed up and this, that. So he came out, he was really sweet. He says, "Hey man, don't do that. I got to do this." But he says, "Here, I've got an extra plug just for someone like you." And he plugged my amp in, and I'm like, well, that was really sweet. And then we got done opening, and this was one of the first times that I'd ever opened for anybody that was like a major name. So we go backstage, and I had so much adrenaline running. I go, somebody hand me a beer. And after about 3 beers, I was still sober. That's how much adrenaline was running.
Wow.
And so we're backstage, and John Lee Hooker shows up.
I like
and
that.
Greg wants John Lee to come out on stage and jam with them on One Way Out. And John Lee says, well, all right, what key are you going to do it in? And Greg says, we're going to do it in the key of A, just like the Allman Brothers did. He says, no, you're not. You're going to do it in the key of G, just like I did in 1947. They got into an argument over what key they were going to do the song in. And it got to the point where John Lee just turned around and walked out.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, somebody hand me another beer.
Here, John, you can have one. Greg, you can have one.
Yeah.
Shut up and come together.
No, I wasn't in a position where I could say something like that. I'm like,
I know I'm kidding. You know, he want to do it in G, he want to do it in A. I says, well, let's do it in C. How's that? It's like, you know, come together, guys. Will you? You heard a compromise, guys? Come on.
Love it. Well, they get into their artist stance and nail, you know, A type, and no one backs down, so they just walk out, you know. So that's what those experiences were, and we opened for one of my favorite bands from the 90s one time, the Gin Blossoms.
Yes, Gin Blossoms. Those are my fave, yes.
Love those guys. And so I went backstage to get their autographs because I said, hey, guys, I got some of your 45s. And they were like, we have 45s? Yes, you do.
I think they were thinking of those single cassettes that were big back then. I was buying those, and then I missed the 45s. But then it's like, you know, my God, cassette decks were all over the place. They were doing like, you know, the chrome, the metal, and everything like that. And then, you know, every car stereo had to have a cassette player. And it's like they were singing little cassettes too. And I still have some, believe it or not. I don't know how much they're worth, but I remember those.
Well, I'm a huge vinyl nut, and
I've always been too. Yes.
Have you? Yeah. Throughout the 90s and the early 2000s, you could still get 45s and LPs. You just had to shop for them, and eBay wasn't a really big thing then, so it was a challenge to find all these, you know, mom and pop record stores that are all over the place, and it was actually kind of fun to go hunting for them, you know. So it was fun. It was fun.
And also secondhand stores too will sometimes have them, like a Goodwill, Salvation Army, or whatever it is. I was thumbing through them, like, oh my gosh, a Led Zeppelin once. It's like, should I get it or not? But then they're also wrecked as well too. And my daughter got me a Queen album for my birthday. I was like, an original vinyl. I think it was with Day at the Races or something. It's like she found that for just a few bucks. And you know, I was given some vinyl too by people. So like, oh, we found a garage sale and everything like that. So yeah, you never know what you can find at a garage sale. And there was a time too that I found a Peter Gabriel album, 1980, had Games Without Frontiers, didn't sell well, got for like $5, and people looked at me like, you wasted $5 in that crap. And look at this. It's like, it's one of the more iconic albums, you know, from the 80s. It's like, I can sense good music than you idiots out there. So
I was visiting Arlene, my oldest sister, for years and years. Her and her husband lived in Alabama. And I was out there one summer. I go, sis, you ever been to Memphis? She goes, no. I says, come on, we're hopping in the car and we're going to Graceland. And we're going to Sun Records. And so it was sis, her oldest boy, Joe. He's my nephew that's 2 years and 1 day younger than me. He's more like a little brother. Mm-hmm. And my first wife, Debbie, at the time. And we made the drive up and we went to Sun Records, which was more interesting for me than Graceland, even though it was just this little funky room. Mm-hmm. And so upstairs is a shop where you can buy all, you know, merch, memorabilia, this kind of stuff. So this is a true story. I asked the fella behind the counter, y'all got any Sun 78s, not 45s, but 78s? And he said, quote, yeah. Y'all got any Elvis Presley Sun 78s? No, but I know somebody that does. Is it for sale? He says, let me call him. Goes back, comes out. Yeah, it's for sale. Which one is it? Oh, he goes back, calls the guy, comes back. Now, a lot of my family's from the South, so I'm not making fun of anybody. It was just this innocent conversation. He says, it's good rockin' tonight, which was Elvis Presley's second record in 1954, recorded right there at the studio downstairs. I go, how much does he want for it? Goes, oh, he has to go back, call him again, comes back out, says he wants to sell it for $325. I says, where is he? He goes, oh, goes back, calls him, comes back out. And he wrote down the name of his store and the address. I go, how far is that from here? He goes, oh, goes back, calls him, comes back, writes the directions down. I go, can you have him hold it for me? He goes, oh. Goes back, calls him, comes back. Yeah, he's holding it for you right now. It's about 5 minutes from here. Thank you. Get in the car and go. We're like trailblazing down there. Get out of the car, and I've got 2 steps into the store, and Arlene grabs me by the collar. And she sounded just like my daddy from Augusta, Georgia, our daddy from Augusta, Georgia, when she said, quote, you're going to pay $325 for a record, boy? And I looked at her and I said, sis, I can go back to San Francisco right now if I wanted to and sell that record for $1,500. She goes, go buy your record, boy. So we went in, and not only did we get Good Rockin' Tonight by Elvis Presley, but the original version of Baby Let's Play House by Arthur Gunter.
Nice.
Baby Let's Play House was Elvis's 4th record on Sun Records. So my nephew and I would go back to the motel, and we had to go outside of the county and get a 6-pack of beer because Memphis is in Shelby County, and I got the rude awakening that it's in a dry county. Dry as in prohibition to this day. So we go out and get a 6-pack of beer, and we go back, and then for like 3 hours, we had both of these records just sitting on top of the bed. And we'd stare at them like little kids that found the Holy Grail. Like, these are original Babe Ruth baseball card type things.
Oh, yeah.
And then, about every half hour, we'd turn them over so we could see the other side of the labels. Pardon me, folks. Record collectors and musicians do stuff like this,
Oh, yeah. Just like baseball card collectors. You're right. Yes. Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So I'm proud to say that there were Elvis Presley's first 29 singles released from 1954 to 1958 on both Sun and RCA Victor, and I have all 29 of them on the 78 format.
Nice.
Which is a format that it always intrigued me because, when I was growing up, and here again, it's the late 50s, 78s were being phased out and 45s were being phased in. Now, 78s were usually my parents' records, like Perez Prado and Nat King Cole and Frankie Lane. You never saw Elvis Presley or Little Richard on 78s at that time.
No. They're associated with the 45s. I know what you're saying, but, that's like a rarity, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, they did make them. It's just that they didn't make as many of them. It wasn't as popular. It was being phased out. So to find these things is, for me, a bit of Americana, and little rock and roll history. I'm big into the history of the music, too.
Mm-hmm. And you certainly create a lot of music as well, too. And I think I was trying to think. I think we I don't know if we talked about gracing the stage with Elvin Bishop. Did we get to that part? No, I can't remember.
I don't think we talked about Elvin Bishop. If you see Elvin Bishop on PBS or any of the shows, he is what he is. He's just a good old boy, and he's a great player. And there, back in the 70s, over in Oakland, across the bay from San Francisco, during the summertime, they'd have what's called Days on the Green. This is where they'd take the Oakland Coliseum, the baseball stadium, and 70,000 people could show up, and you'd start at 11 in the morning, and it'd go till 6 or 7 at night, because in the summertime, it don't get dark till 9. And you'd see Dolly Parton, Elvin Bishop, Loggins and Messina, the Doobie Brothers and the Eagles, all on the same bill for $15.
Nice.
This is back in the 70s. And I think I wasn't opening for Elvin at this time, but to give you an idea, Elvin doesn't mean to be sexist. He doesn't mean to be ignorant. He's just a good old boy. And Dolly Parton was on the bill before him, and she pulled out an Elvin Bishop song. And he comes out on stage to do his set, and halfway through the set, he goes, "That woman just did one of my songs." He goes, "Just to know one of my songs passed by her lungs makes life complete." That's Elvin Bishop. It's all perspective.
Like that?
I don't know if you can put that on the air, but hey, it's okay.
It's okay. That's what getting me full round fell in love. Get that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that is something as well too. Oh my goodness. And of course you got your own music, Full Circle, Big Daddy D, Where He Left Off, The Son of Sun, and more. And we'll be talking about Come On Just a Minute with Dave Crimmen. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs, and brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the multi-talented veteran West Coast performer from San Francisco, Dave Crimmen, after this time.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionsea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with the amazing, multi-talented Dave Crimmen from San Francisco here on the Mike Wagner Show. You share the stage with Elvin Bishop, Greg Allman, just a lot of great stories, big influence, Elvis Presley and more. You also have some other material like Full Circle, Big Daddy D, Where He Left Off, and The Son of Sun, appropriate, Sun Records. And tell us more about those releases and inspirations, stories behind the songs, and everything like that, especially The Son of Sun.
Well, September 1989, I met one of my idols, Carl Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing in Marin County, just north of San Francisco. And during the day, my favorite record store at the time hosted a good old-fashioned autograph signing party. So I went up there to get a couple of my records signed by Mr. Perkins, and we got talking, and I said, I am a singer-songwriter myself, but I don't have a professional manager. I says, I'd love to write some songs for you. How do I get them to you? And he looked at me and said, quote, "Do you write songs in my style, boy?"
What'd you say, boy?
He scared the heck out of me. And my family's from the South. My dad talks just like that. But I said, yes, sir, I do. So all of a sudden I had to round up some friends to record demos of the songs I'd written. That turned into a band. Those 3 demos turned into, an album. And so that really started my recording career, was meeting Carl Perkins.
I like that.
And, ever since then, it's been basically a theme. Son of Sun, well, I never recorded at Sun Records or on Sun Records, but Lord knows I've been influenced by him. So that's where the title came from that. My album, Where He Left Off, we're referring to Elvis Presley. It's just basically we're picking up where he left off.
Mm-hmm.
Big Daddy D. Guy that played drums for me for about 9 or 10 years, Salvatore Diamaro from Brooklyn, New York. He still talks like he's from Brooklyn.
Really? You like that, huh? You talk like that? It's yours. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so that he had nicknames for everybody in the band, and mine was Big Daddy D or Big Daddy. So that's where the name of that album came from. And it's all, I mix up the styles a little bit, but basically, I'm waving the flag for that 50s rock and roll style, and I kind of make the joke, we're like Jay Leno on that old Doritos commercial. Try us again for the first time. Yeah, rock and roll. Try us again for the first time.
How do you like that? Jay Leno, what a classic. I could still see him driving one of the classic cars like that Mustang, Camaro, or God, how many classic cars does he have? Like, God, 100 of them by now or something, along with like 50 classic Harleys. It's like he's got a big garage full of them.
He's got a warehouse, I'm sure, and he can afford it. So, God love Jay Leno. And he's always been one that, supported a lot of musicians who had, records out that might not have been the flavor of the month, and gave them a lot of airtime and publicity, just like you're doing for me right now. So God bless you guys. Thank you. And big shout out to John, who introduced me to you. We got to talking one day, and, he's a big doo-wop fan.
Oh, yeah. He's like the big ones, like from the East Coast, Jersey, Philly, New York, and all that. It's like, I get a lot of guests from him like that. Just amazing guy. Thank you, John. You're amazing.
God bless you. We were talking, and I says, well, he was talking about the Belmonts and a few of the other folks that were signed to Laurie Records. And I go, well, I met Dion one time. And he's like, you met Dion? We're not worthy. You talked to Dion?
Wayne's World. Yeah.
Exactly. And Dion was a great guy and is a great guy and a great musician. He still sings all of his songs in the original keys. It was at Hot August Nights in Reno, Nevada. They have this every summer. It's a big car show, and they invite tons of folks to perform. Like I saw Dion there, saw Johnny Rivers there. But talking with Dion, he's talking about writing the song Teenage in Love.
Mm-hmm.
And I had handed him a copy of what was then my current single, 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air, which you guys are going to be playing. Thank you. And we put it out as a vinyl 45 RPM record with a pictured cover, just like Elvis's records used to be. And I was standing in front of my buddy's turquoise blue 57 Bel Air Chevy. To me, the most beautiful car in the world. And he looks at me. He says, "Is that your car?" And I had to bite my lip. Because, Dion's from Brooklyn. It's a car. My mom's from Boston. It's a car.
A car. Drive that car and get in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
and go to Harvard. Yeah.
Exactly. So he says, when I was writing that song, it was in the backseat of a car, just like that. Well, I'm biting my lip for two reasons. Number one, the ghost of my mom is laughing hysterically in my ear. And number two, I was thinking, just what were you doing in the backseat of that car? And who were you doing it with? But I didn't have the guts to ask him. It's like, this is Dion. He's God. Don't mess up.
And of course, don't piss off the Wanderer, too. That's the thing. So, yeah.
Exactly. A big shout out yesterday was Brenda Lee's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Brenda.
And I met Miss Brenda at the Rockabilly Hall of Fame in Jackson, Tennessee. There was a jam session where we all got together and had fun. And I got to do a few of my songs. And the next morning they had a good old-fashioned meet and greet at 8:00 in the morning.
Oh, my goodness.
So my wife's in the shower, and I go downstairs to the cafeteria to try and find some coffee. And here's Brenda Lee talking to Bob Timmers, the president of the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, and she cuts him off and walks across the room towards me and grabs my hand and says, "I want to tell you, I saw your show last night, and I think you are really talented. I appreciate everything that you did last night. You are really good." Now, I haven't had my first cup of coffee, and I'm looking at Brenda Lee. And I'm thinking to myself, don't turn your head. She is talking to you, not the guy behind you. This really is Brenda Lee. I says, yeah, thank you, Miss Brenda. Where'd they put the coffee? She starts giggling. She grabs my hand. It's over here, darling. And don't they know we're musicians? We don't get up before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And she was just a joy to be with. And we get to the meet and greet, and they sit me down next to DJ Fontana, Elvis Presley's drummer from 1956 to 1968.
Oh, yes.
And DJ, God love him, he's another sweet man, and he's a good old boy. Here we go again. You got to speak Southern. And if he don't know you too well, if you ask him a million questions, you get 2 answers, yep and nope. That's it. He doesn't talk that much. And we had a couple of girls come up to us at our table, and they looked at me and said, we saw y'all the jam last night, and my girlfriend just told me y'all had never played together before. How do you do that? And I looked at DJ. I go, DJ, how many times have you played Hound Dog? And he looked at me, rolled his eyes, and just looked away. That was his answer.
He's like, I don't want to discuss.
Don't even want to talk about that. I go, you see, darling, once you know the song, just give me the key and count it out, and you just go. And she goes, oh, that's really interesting. Can I have your autograph? Sure, fine. You're not with the IRS? Fine.
You don't work for eBay? Fine.
Fine. Yeah, I did a search on eBay one time, and I found one of my 45s for sale on eBay.
Oh, my goodness.
And, you kind of know you've made Americana. You finally made it when you see one of your own records on eBay. And the guy just said, if you like Elvis, you'll like this guy. I'm like, okay, that's good publicity. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I'll take it, And ironically, I was big tipping of the hat to Canada. Mike, I forget where you are. Where are you located? I'm sorry.
We're located in outside Bismarck, North Dakota, 250 miles south of the Canadian border, if that gets you an idea. So a word to wise, everybody, feel free to go further north. Just watch out for the hockey pucks.
Well, years ago, I signed up for BMI. Them and ASCAP and CSAC are the 3 organizations that collect royalties. Mm-hmm. And I got into a bit of an argument with my big brother, Raymond. Mm. And I says, Raymond, I just signed up to be a writer and a publisher for BMI. I can't wait for my first royalty check. I'm going to mat it and frame it and put it on the wall. And typical big brother, he says, quote, David, cash the check. Put a color Xerox up there, end quote. I says, Raymond, it'll probably be for 98 cents, not worth paper and postage. Mm. So I get my first royalty check for airplay in Montreal and Ottawa for $5.15. And I called up my brother, Raymond, it's on the wall.
Proved you wrong, buddy.
So it's just been a great ride. And, the new single that's come out with the Jordanaires on it, this was recorded on my album, Big Daddy D. But I've, made the choice to go back in and take all of my catalog and remix and remaster it all, because people are listening with different ears nowadays. And we actually shortened this from 4.5 minutes down to 3:03.
Oh, wow.
And somehow radio picked up on it and the internet picked up on it, and it's going through the roof. And, there's a little kid inside here that's going, oh my God, I'm singing with Elvis Presley's people. This is like a dream come true, mm-hmm. So it's really great that you guys are, taking the single and letting folks know about me. So, God bless and thank you.
Mm-hmm. And God bless you guys as well, too. And with Come On and 57 Chevy Bel Air and everything. And where can we find all your music at, by the way?
Oh, I'm easy to find. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I think the only one I'm not on right now is what's that one where you make little films and stuff?
TikTok.
Thank you. That one. I'm not on that one yet. I can only, I have to manage a lot of this myself. So somewhere along the line, I have to have a life and I have to write songs. So, some things have to be put off for a while. But yeah, just run a search on Dave Crimmen, Google search. It'll all come up. Kind of a little story about my 3 older sisters. I always tell folks, yes, David is on my birth certificate, but there's only 4 people in the world that call me David. That's my mom and my 3 older sisters. Mm-hmm. And Phyllis, the second oldest one, called me up years ago. She's 19 years older than me and technically my godmother. Mm-hmm. And get a call from David. I've been doing a Google search on you and I can't find you anywhere. I go, sis, I do a search like once every 6 months just to see what's out there. Just curious. And last time I did, there was like 90 different sites and pages with me on them that came up.
Oh my gosh.
Sis, who are you looking for? She goes, I keep looking for David Crimmen. I go, sis, try Dave. And you hear click, 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 click. And she sounded just like our mother when she said, quote, oh, there you are. Love you, sis. Really, I love you.
Yeah, that stuff will happen too, I'll tell you. Oh my gosh.
And the only time I like being called Davey, right, is with an Irish brogue, or with a Scottish bear, because it just sounds right to me because we're Irish on Mama's side. And in the 90s, there were a gazillion Irish bars in San Francisco, and they loved live music. You could make a living just playing the Irish bars. Well, being a singer, I fall into accents. I don't mean to make fun of anybody at all. I just think there's a little 5-year-old kid that goes, wow, I love the way you're talking. That's a neat noise. How do you do that? And so I love accents. I love languages. And my mom hated it when I spoke the Irish brogue. There's another story in that. We'll talk about that at another time.
Oh, that's fine. Because I was going to say, it's just like, if you had that, it's like, I play good music and it's not crap.
When I hear Davy in an Irish brogue or a Scottish brogue, right, Davy, we love your music, Davy. Your music is fantastic, Davy. It sounds right to me,
Yeah, right place at the right time. And it's like, not buy me a pint, will ya?
We were playing the Irish Cultural Center one time, and there was a little lady when I came on break, and she comes up to me, and she only came up to here on me. She was just like my mom. I'm 6'4". She was 5 foot tall.
Wow.
And she looks at me and says, what's with the phony brogue? You've done everything except say Faith and Bragora over the microphone. What's with the phony brogue? I says, well, Mum, if you think the brogue be that phony, you be arguing with me great-grandmother, Bridget O'Brien from Jail Street in County Cork. She doesn't bat an eye. She goes, I'm from the finest county in all of Ireland. I says, what might that be, Mum? She says, Waterford, County Waterford. 'Tis the finest county in all of Ireland, she says. I says, 'tis a grand county, Mum. But you know the best thing about County Waterford? She goes, no, what's that? I go, it's right next to County Cork. And I walked away. The husband comes up with a round of drinks for the band, and he's looking over his shoulder. This is a true story. I don't make this up. He goes, I'm proud of you, son. In 30 years, no one has ever shut my wife up like that before. I go, don't do this to me. I just work here. Thank you. Have a good night. Shuffle off to Buffalo, I just work here sometimes,
Oh my gosh. I'm ready for a 7-course Irish meal, a potato and a 6-pack of beer. I'm ready for you, man. 7-course all the way.
First time we played the Abbey Tavern on 4th and Gary in San Francisco. Very first time. I'm always the first guy there because I got to bring the PA system, set stuff up, tear it down, la, la, la. So I walk in with my 2 guitars, and one of the regulars walks right up to me, and he goes, what kind of music do you play by? I thought, oh, shit, we got a live one here. Oh, pardon me for saying that word. We're on here.
No. You're okay. You're okay.
Okay. I go, he says, do you play any Irish music? I go, no, sir. We play both kinds of music, rock and roll. And I'm sweating bullets. He says, that's good. We don't want to hear none of that Irish stuff out here. And he walks away.
I thought I was going to say, do not play that crap.
Well, this is way back in the 90s. So it was a beautiful thing rediscovering my heritage, because Mom never talked about her family growing up in Roxbury, Massachusetts, never talked about any of that stuff. And so within the first 5 minutes of the first two songs, I'm going, oh my God, that one's acting like Mom. That one's acting like Arlene, my sister. That one's acting like Phyllis. Oh my God. We're not crazy. We're Irish. Which could mean the same thing to some folks, but I learned so much about my own family and my own heritage playing these bars, because Mom would never talk about it for some reason. I don't know. Mom hated it when I spoke the brogue, and years later she had a stroke, and I was elected the, quote, in-house therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it when I spoke the brogue. So one day I walk in there, she's sitting in her wheelchair. Mama, it's time for your exercises. And she looked at me and said, no. I sat down next to her and says, Mama, you got to get up and do your exercises. You got to walk. She took her cane and hit it on the floor, and she looked me right in the eye and said, quote, you're getting pushy like your father. Him and Hitler were born on the same day. End quote.
Oh, no.
Well, they were. A couple of Tauruses. So I looked her right in the eye and says, well, Mrs. O'Flaherty, which was my nickname for her, I think I sit here now and speak the brogue to for the rest of the day. She said, stop that. I hate that. I go, Mother, you have a choice. Get up and walk, or I speak the brogue to for the rest of the day, Mrs. O'Flaherty. She wouldn't talk to me, but she got up and walked. It's one for baby brother.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sure she's taking her cane and, walking to the fridge and having a brew by now. He goes, that's my exercise for the day. Here's my real exercise.
Well, only when she was really angry would Mom get into cups, which would be about like once every 2 years. And she'd bypass beer and go right for shots of, Jack Daniels or Jim Beam. When she was ticked off, it was like the floodgates are open, run, hide, for like 2 days.
Oh my gosh. And of course I was thinking she could probably do some Irish whiskey as well too. Really, man, down some of that.
Yeah. Which wasn't in the house, but I'm sure if that was available, you never know. You just don't know.
That's exactly it. Oh my gosh. I mean, we got to do this again another time with more stories and everything else. And, I forgot to mention, you're also an author of 2 books, Images of American Broadmoor Village and Daily City Then and Now. I've been talking about you being an author, and it's like, we got to buy your books. Someone to talk about your books. Am I right?
Oh yeah. You can get those at Amazon or the actual publishing house. I can't think of their name right now. Good God. But Images of America, you can do a Google search. Arcadia Publishing is what they call it. And I had a family of people that came around, and Arcadia Publishing puts out these local history books, little with the sepia colored, covers. They're about $20 a throw, and they're local history. Family that, followed us around brought in the book, Images of America, Visitation Valley. That's a section of San Francisco where Candlestick Park was, where, the Beatles' last concert, San Francisco Giants played, the 49ers played there. And I said, that's cool. I was always bragging about Broadmoor because nobody knows where Broadmoor is. They think it's Daly City. It's not. And by the way, the Cow Palace where Elvis Presley played is in Daly City. It's not in San Francisco. Anyway.
That's a classic. Yeah, that and the Fillmores is like, boy, I thought about it. So it's like, I went to California. It's like, I should have visited San Francisco. You think about it. Fillmore, Cow Palace, and the Stick and all that.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. So I said, gee, somebody should do one on Broadmoor. So she comes in on the one on Daly City a few weeks later. I go, someone should do one on Broadmoor. So she calls me up one day and she goes, I've got the editor of Arcadia Publishing on the other line. He likes the idea of a book on Broadmoor Village and he wants you to write it because that's where you grew up. And I go, I write songs. I don't write books. But, you know, all of my friends that I grew up with said, hey, you were always bragging when we were kids and we were in Broadmoor, not Daly City. You really should write it. So I did. And then I got involved with a lot of local historical communities, Daly City, Colma, and wound up co-writing with Bunny Gillespie, the one on Daly City, because her and her husband started the Daly City Historical Society. So I'm really blessed that, you know, I am now a published author. I'm not quite used to the word author yet, but having that in the resume, along with being a musician and a recording artist, and, you know, having worked with the Jordanaires, and having a song of mine that I wrote, recorded by, you know, Bill Haley's original Comets, was a dream come true. Mm-hmm. You know, I worked a couple of shows with them. I mean, obviously, Bill Haley wasn't around in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah. It's like whoever was there and everything else. I'm sure they had some good stories about Bill Haley, too. So.
Oh, yeah. And it was all the original guys. And they always bragged about how old they were on stage. They always said that they were on the Viagra tour. They're hysterical. So
man. Or they're on the stick, too. So.
Yeah. So I wrote them a song called We Ain't Dead Yet. And they put it on their last album, Age to Perfection. And I got a royalty check because apparently we had a hit single in Finland with Bill Haley's original Comets doing one of my songs. And I mean, you know, to be able to give back to these guys that I grew up with, you know, really sort of completes the circle. So I'm blessed that I've had a lot of this kind of stuff, you know, happen.
Oh, yeah. And certainly blessed as well, too. We're here with the multi-talented Dave Crimmen out of San Francisco here on the Mike Wagner Show, talking about his latest release, Come On, featuring Jordanaires, and his amazing career and everything else. What else can we expect in 23 and beyond, Dave? What else can we expect from you heading into next year?
In doing the remasterings of a lot of my songs, you'll probably be playing it on your show, a song called Revved Up, which was a single from my album Big Daddy D. Well, we've remastered it, and a lot of folks got favorable comments on it. So I'm going to be releasing that as a single on January 8th, which is Elvis Presley's birthday. It's also David Bowie's birthday, so hey, kudos to him too. Working on new material. This last year I had a client who wanted songs for movies and TV shows, and she asked me, "Can you write songs like Johnny Cash?" And I said, "With this hair, baby." So with that, I wrote and recorded 5 songs. It's an EP, which means extended play. Mm-hmm. And that's online. It's called The Ghost of JR. And JR is Johnny Cash's real name. JR. You know, that happens in the South a lot. They give their kids initials, not a real name, and they don't mean anything. So Johnny was an adopted name. His real name was J.R. Cash. So that's out. I'm very proud of that. That's making noise right now as well. So, you know, I really got to thank you for taking the time to let me jabberjaw with you and playing some of my records. And God bless John. And I'm just really looking forward to, you know, get a little further out of this COVID flu thing that's going on right now, and playing live again, because that's my real gig. I love performing live. And recording is fine, writing is fine, but that's where my gig is at. You also, online, you might want to look up on Spotify a group called the Love Avengers. That's the 4 of us. We put out a holiday single last year called Holiday Glow, and just found out it's getting played in over 40 countries. And I looked at Tom, one of my co-writers, and I go, "Are there even 40 countries on the face of the earth?" He laughed.
40 other countries on the face of the earth. It's like I actually did a count. Reason why I say over 100 countries, I actually went through all my channels and even figure out there's like maybe 5 or 10 islands that have picked up on my show. And yes, they're little islands. They're considered countries. Yes, little islands, you know, considered countries.
Love it.
I can't think of the name of the islands, but I look them like little island Japan, little island New Zealand, little island part of the United States. I went, that's a country? So, yeah. Okay.
God bless him. Yeah, God bless him. So thanks for having me on today, Mike. Thank you.
And appreciate it as well, too. And lastly, what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
For
anything.
Finding a girlfriend, being a musician, keeping your hair on the top of your head. What?
So that's your advice, huh? Okay.
just find out what you love to do and do it. That's it. That's life. Let's have fun.
That's right. That's right. And you certainly have fun with Dave as well, too. And of course, we had Dave Crimmen on the Mike Wagner Show, a veteran West Coast performer. Dave, a very big thank you. I'm absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to it soon. Please keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Definitely love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
Real simple. Go to my website, davecrimmen.com, D-A-V-E. No, it's not David. It's Dave. And C-R-I-M-M like mother, E-N like Nathan, Crimmen, davecrimmen.com. There are links to all the social media, all the books, all the records, even the vinyl 45 RPMs, Spotify, link. All of them are right there. So just find me on davecrimmen.com. I've got my blogs up there where I delve into the history of rock and roll, not just Elvis Presley, but lots of folks I grew up listening to. So yeah, just come by and visit.
We will certainly do so, Dave. A very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. A lot of laughs. Looking forward to again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love you back. And Dave, you definitely have a great future ahead of you. And, a little bit of scotch. And we have to talk about that crop.
Well, how cold is it right now where you are? It's at least 49 degrees here in San Francisco, which for us is freezing, but for you, that's almost skinny dipping weather.
Well, we'll have a debate about that after a few scotches and all that. So we'll look forward to having soon and definitely keep in touch. You're absolutely amazing.
God bless. Take care, Mike.
Well, you're looking mighty fine, baby. It's plain to see that I could go for you, and I know you could go for me. Well, a girl like you is just what I need. Been in jail too long, and my heart needs to be free. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Stop living in the past. Yesterday's gone. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It'll feel so right. Can't be wrong. Come on, come on, come on. Baby, come on, come on, come on, come on. You've been left behind, and I've been cast aside too. We could cry forever, but this is what I'd rather do. Pick up the pieces of our broken hearts. Make time for us, baby. Time to make a new start. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Stop living in the past. Yesterday's gone. Come on, come on, come on. It'll feel so right. Can't be wrong. Come on, come on, come on. Baby, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Baby, baby, this could be a chance to let go of our plan Chevrolet Bel Air. Yeah. White hot top, no posts on the side. Need a Continental kit, that's my kind of ride. Come along with me, baby, if you dare. We'll be cruising down the street, I won't charge you fat in my 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Well, I've been wanting that car, dream about it every night. I'm gonna work real hard, save up my money, and get one that looks just right. You look like a star, I look like one too. Trust me, honey, when I say to you, it might cost a lot, but I don't care. It's like black slacks, cool shades I wanna wear. My 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Ah, give me one with fence, baby. Well, I've been wanting that car, dream about it every night. I'm gonna work real hard, save up my money, get one that looks just right. Well, you look like a star, and I look like one too. Trust me, honey, when I say to you, it might cost a lot, but I don't care. It's like black slacks, cool shades I wanna wear. My 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. My 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Well, my 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Woo-hoo. It's Friday night, and I'm ready to rock. Got some money in my jeans, baby, I just can't stop. Well, I'm revved up, revved up, I'm revved up. Well, I'm revved up and ready to go. Come to me now, 'cause you're looking fine. Wanna show you off, but the world know that you're mine. Well, I'm revved up, revved up, I'm revved up. Well, I'm revved up and ready to go. I'll play a song. Now is the time, baby, shake that thing. Wanna dance to a band that really knows how to swing. Well, I'm revved up, revved up, I'm revved up. Well, I'm revved up and ready to go. Revved up, I'm revved up. Well, I'm revved up. Well, I'm revved up and ready to go. Revved up and ready to go. Revved up and ready to go.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People, based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamosenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show. Brought to you by international award-winning author Mia Mohsen-Zia of Missing. And powered by Sonic Web Studios. Be sure to join us again on over 40 podcast platforms. And of course on the MikeWagnerShow.com, HamiltonRadio.net, and Diamonds FM. Don't forget to support our program with a generous donation at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Thanks for listening.